What I found though, the main difference was when you're selling a product, you're selling a fixed outcome.
I get that industry question, or how much work have you done in this industry? I know that doesn't really make me any better at what I do, like for them.
That's something I found very interesting because I've worked with people in those companies who treated services like products, made blogs and they did newsletters and all these things, and they just weren't effective at all. One of them did a road trip out to all their clients, and over just under a week, they got, through pipeline generation, over $1 million of qualified deals.
Hello and welcome to Season 3 of the Push Podcast. My name's Jack Ferguson, an experienced brand strategist with a science background. I've worked in marketing for 15 years, have held numerous internal senior roles spanning national and international brands, and now I work as a consultant. In my career, I've worked across 25 industries and helped increase client and employer revenue by over $40 million. I will be your host. This season of the podcast is essential listening for marketers looking to better sell their strategies to stakeholders. I'll host senior marketers who will share stories, analogies, and mental models that help explain complex concepts to non-marketers, get client buy-in, and keep internal teams engaged. Whether you're in-house, agency side, or a consultant, I aim to equip senior marketers like you with tools to speak up, lead with confidence, and persuade others of your strategy's effectiveness. Thanks for being here, and don't forget to subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on. Welcome to Season 3, Episode 28 of the Push Podcast. Today we're discussing promoting products versus services. In this episode, we're diving deep into the real differences backed by real-life examples. As you know, it's not just about the product or service itself, it's about how we approach the messaging, build trust, and create a strategy that resonates. Whether you're selling a tangible product or offering a professional service, the approach we take can make all the difference. We talk about a lot today, including the story of a software developer rebranding as an education app developer and how that pivot led to more sales, why I believe industry experience helps sell to clients, but why I don't think that necessarily makes a marketer better at their job, different marketing strategies we've used for professional services versus product-based businesses, featuring an engineering company example, challenges we've witnessed of promoting service-based businesses with a broad range of offerings, and some real-world examples of successful marketing strategies for service-based businesses. Alex Urquhart is my co-host on today's episode. He's a product marketing specialist, and if you want to find either of us online, please find links to our online presence in the descriptions on the platform you're listening on. Let's get into it.
All right, welcome back, Jack. I'm going to introduce. Good to have you back, Jack.
Oh, thanks. Thank you, Alex.
Just switch it up.
Yes.
Awesome.
Appreciate that.
Awesome. This one, we're going to get right into it. This episode, we wanted to talk about, as we always do, have healthy debates of sometimes a lot of people see marketing as marketing, right? Like, do marketing, please. But we forget that where it fits in and how it fits in and what it looks like varies for everyone. And one thing I always say is that marketing is how your business engages with the market. And that can mean anything from the 4 Ps, as we all know, or anything else along those lines. But something that I've found very interesting or recent is helping people who do, say, a professional services business compared to a product. And could be same market, could be same level pricing, but there's just different ways of marketing that. So I wanted to get into that. We'll start with one of the stories was looking at it's an engineering company and they do consultancy services. And I've done another company that sold to literally the exact same clients, the same buyer, and helped them with similar challenges. What I found though, is the main difference was when you're selling a product, you're selling a fixed outcome, or to a point, right? You're selling Xero software or Canva. You're selling a design software. You're selling an accounting software that does these things, very specific. So therefore, you can go, this person sees these benefits in these ways. And so it helps with your messaging very much.
Yep. It's a hat. It's a house. It's a
thing.
It's a car.
Here's what you get.
It's a cat.
Here's the.
It's a sloth. It's a lion.
Dr. Seuss has turned into.
I do a lot of buying for zoos. Yeah.
So I think so when you've got something fixed, you can things like websites, landing pages, ads, product-led growth, whatever it is, webinars, videos. It's very specific messaging. But when it comes to services, like on this one, it was an engineering one, and they had, technically thousands of different things that they could do. So when it came to that, it was hard to promote, we help you with X. because then it becomes super high level. And we all know, we've done this before, is like, we help you improve your business structure. It's like meaningless for anyone. Or we are your trusted advisors to help you the outcomes that you need, which I've seen on many website, which means nothing. So it became a thing around, if that's how we're going to do, we either specialize the services, and that becomes the product side of things. We're going to specialize in this particular service here, or we keep it as widespread. And I've spoken to maybe 5 or 6 different services. So accounting firms, law firms, engineering companies, even IT or app builders. And if you're going to keep it broad, then I noticed that your marketing or go-to-market structure is very much BD based and very much sales based. And all these other companies were probably 98% of their revenue came from BD work. And what I mean by that is either existing clients you work with and you promote things or you identify problems with them, or you get very, very involved in your either leadership personal brand or your company personal brand, and you join events and you go to networking places and you sponsor things, and you basically create relationships in the market. So then people go, oh, Jack Services, they're great guys, they're great people. I've met them before, very trustworthy. My mate Bob used them, very helpful. They fixed his accounting services a while ago. We probably need that too. The referral base turns into trust, and that they're willing to talk to you to unpack their problems. But the same narrative still exists. What's your problem? What's the solution? The difference is when product is a bit easier because you've got, not easier, but it's a bit different because the problem, it's a consistent problem. Services, in a lot of times, not a consistent problem. So I think that's something I found very interesting, because I've worked with people in those companies who treated services like products, made blogs and they did newsletters and all these things, and they just weren't effective at all. And they did the same stuff and they never got any referral, they never got any interaction, or even like vanity metrics was very low until they lent into the sales or BD side of things, and they did things like they host their own events, or they really invested into conferences they went to, or they did road trips. And that was huge. One of them did a road trip out to all their clients, and over just under a week, they got, through pipeline generation, over $1 million of qualified deals. That was hugely effective. And it was like, okay, well then look at your marketing market fit, which I did a blog on that the other day around, think about how your buyer buys, what makes sense to them, how they see your product. Anyone who's doing a service-based industry and it's not specific, like if you're doing haircuts for kids or something like that, again, that's very specific and your messaging and everything's very to the point. But if you're a hairdresser, again, probably you're going to rely on proximity. If you're in a shopping center, you're going to rely on referrals. You're going to rely on, maybe there's a specialty that you do, it's like you do coloring or extensions or whatever it is. Like you've got a thing you're trying to sell them. Because I come up against a lot of people. I know you've worked with app developers as well. And I've had many of app developers. They go, I'm struggling to find leads. I'm struggling to find people. And because their thing is, we develop software for you. That's not a problem. That's not a need. That's not a category entry point anywhere in that. And I met with one of the guys who's really good at it, and he realized he was getting pulled into education software. So he went, you know what, I'm rebranding. I'm an education app developer. And he got heaps more organic coming back through. He did a lot of good SEO work. Then people just went, oh, if you need software in the education world, talk to these guys. They're very, very good. So that's something that I think was at least a very good lesson for me. But I don't know if you ever felt that. Have you helped market to someone who's got a very broad approach or product or solution?
Yeah, I mean, the software developers are a good one that come to mind. Yeah, for sure. And it's interesting, like when you make the point about the education software, that person went down that track. My mind goes exactly where it went to with other clients I've worked with. It doesn't actually you're not necessarily better at making education software. You're just, that's kind of what a segment of the market cares about. So it's the same idea as when I'm selling my services to a client, I get that industry question, or how much work have you done in this industry? I know that doesn't really make me any better at what I do. Like for them, I'm not okay. You get a bit more jargon, you've got a little bit more
familiarity with
it. But it probably helps you sell a bit more, ironically, to the client. Does it make you a better marketer for that client? In my opinion, no, because I want to come in with fresh eyes anyway. So, and be agnostic to the actual tactics and what we're going to do. Where am I going with this? Yes, so I think that it can be effective, because I feel it with even my own thing that I sell. When I do get that question about industry, because it's like, well, the fact I've worked in so many different industries actually means that I have such this breadth of experience. It means I can bring things from all over the place and put them together. I think that does make me better than just sticking to one industry. Does it make it harder for me to sell? I think so. So that principle's still applying to, I think, that situation you're talking about, because I'm not sure that software developer would be any better at making education software than say another
I agree.
another software company.
Yes.
But
the buyer is seeking
yes.
an educational
Yes.
software developer.
Yes.
Correct.
So
And this is, I was going to say that too, because I completely agree with that. And that's how I get frustrated too, because even through other jobs I've applied for, and you hear this a lot with any content marketers or content creators out there, they go through it a lot. And they go like, I need a content creator for the education industry. And the content creators will get so angry because what makes good content is not because you've written 10 blogs about the education industry. What makes you good is your ability to structure and create good hooks. And I've seen a lot of people, and understandably so, have rants on their LinkedIn stuff to go like, I lost my job to a much less experienced person who I know would not do as good as they could, but because they'd worked for these 3 companies that were in this sort of industry. And I get it from their perspective. Like, you want an indicator of, have you done what I want you to do before? And I see it a lot too with software. People having their titles of like, oh, X Canva, X Microsoft, X thing. And there's some really good ones out there, but I've also met a lot of really awful. Like, they're not good, but on paper, they look fantastic.
Yeah.
You run with the big boys and you've played in the pen, you've done a really good job. So like, you must know what you're doing here. And in the same breath, I spoke with a guy who he had a family business of vending machines. And he like did the whole business process, like engineered the way they did billing. He figured out a process of each vending machine, how to optimize which chocolates on where to go where in the pricing and different places, and where to put them in this, say, university to where you're going to get the most money.
Oh, very cool. Yeah.
It's super cool.
Yeah.
But he was so good at the whole like tactical business innovation stuff that he was super effective for it. But when he applied for jobs, they were like, oh, you haven't worked for McKinsey? Like, you're not a thing? Like, no, I don't want you.
Yeah.
And it's this frustration, because I appreciate both sides, but it is really annoying that happens. So I think the whole point is like someone who's familiar with it. And that's what I look at. Like, I do B2B SaaS. I even struggle sometimes because they say, well, what do you do? And I say, well, product marketing services, growth marketing stuff. And they go like, okay, do I need that? But if I said, oh, I can help you nurture your clients so you get regular leads every sort of quarter, or whatever it is, or I'll do this specific thing. They go, okay, yeah, I definitely, I sort of need that. So I think the idea being specializing, not because of your skill set, makes it easier for people to buy you.
There's a good question there though. B2B SaaS, why do you do that?
Well, I think it's because I originally found myself the most experience in that. And I've had the most time in that. And like, don't get me wrong, I love the idea of, working B2C. I think about that a lot too, but I've applied for jobs in the past in B2C and they won't look at me because they're just like, well, you've got no experience. Like, why would you do it? And yet I've consulted to B2C companies before and they've been very happy and we've got good results. But it's that whole thing of like, you can take the world's best rugby league player and make them play NFL. They might do a fantastic job, but it's like this whole thing of like, you've never played this before, so therefore I don't trust if you can do it.
Okay, so is it a strategic decision then? On the context of this episode, we're just relating what we're talking about now to your decision to put yourself out there as the B2B SaaS guy.
Is it a strategic decision?
Yeah,
it is. With my marketing and my audience and who I want to talk to, because again, that's all the same thing, right? Who's your audience? What's their problem? How are you going to help them? And that helps me line that up a bit easier. Because if I go in and saying marketing stuff, which I have, goes nowhere, which there's a lot of irony in someone who markets that, marketing themselves very broadly. I get some good reactions and people enjoy stuff, but it's sort of like, okay, this is cool, but now what? What do you do? It's like, oh, I'm in the fashion industry. Great. Are you selling hats, or are you creating the textiles, or are you doing the designs? Like, where do you fit in this thing? My theory is always, if people don't know what you do, how do they know if they want to buy you? I want to just say that, like, this is what I do, but people don't get it until they can sit with you and understand you, which again comes to that whole services side of things. Once they know me, like most of my business comes from referrals because I hopefully do a good job and someone refers me through. So that works in that sense, but scaling that is hard.
Yeah.
Because then I have to get really strong in my word of mouth and get very active in my industry and, promote my personal brand a lot more. So not right or wrong, just two different ways to it. So if someone's very confident in their BD or their personal branding, and they'll be fine. But if to move a bit faster, as we always say, be more direct. One person, one problem, one channel. Yeah. Go hard at that.
Okay. Yeah, cool. All right. So the service versus product argument, let's just wrap that up and sign off.
Let's do it.
You can wrap it up if you want. You
edit that last bit out. All right. So in conclusion, looking at the two, so you've got product versus services. Usually products are more specific. I have a product to fix this specific problem. Very simple. You got a lot of messaging. You can lean into marketing side of things or PLG side of things. When it comes to services, usually it's quite broad. Lawyers, accountants, technical services. If you're very broad, you don't have a specific problem to a specific solution, you have to lean into more BD. So you've got to build trust to have those conversations with you. So if you're doing services, or if you treat it like a product, you have, I do a service to help this specific problem, treat it like a product. If you don't, and you're doing a bunch of random stuff, you got to get pretty good at BD, and you got to work really hard at sales enablement. Full stop.
Cool. Chat to you on the next episode.
See you next time, mate.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Push Podcast. Please remember to subscribe, and if you are enjoying the episodes, please leave a review of the podcast on your platform of choice. It really helps to build the podcast credibility and to help others find this type of information.